Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. It's December 3rd here, and that means it's the anniversary of the Bhopal gas tragedy. This tragedy occurred in 1984, in which 27,000 people approximately died, with thousands more still suffering today. 33% of the errors causing this tragedy were reported to be in the basic engineering phase, with the main weaknesses in the plant being in the chemical reactivity and incompatibility issues, the basic layout, and the utility setup. We will go to Tyler to see some of the issues that led to this fatal disaster.
If you were to garden using improper methods and techniques while also improperly using the equipment, your garden would be a disaster. The Bhopal disaster happened because of lack of proper methods and equipment. There were multiple errors in the human factor aspect that caused this disaster. First, the Bhopal management had budget cuts that reduced the number of workers that maintained and checked the plant from 12 to 6. And a chemical engineer that worked there stated that the plant cannot be safely run with 6 people. As a result of these budget cuts, requirements for experience in education and maintenance levels had been sharply reduced. This lack of training and education was directly correlated with how the disaster happened. A supervisor asked a worker whose training did not meet the original proper standards to wash out a pipe that had not been properly sealed. The water kept seeping through, and the MIC reacted with this water and let out a poisoning vapor. Another reason was both the management and the workers had become accustomed to the minor leaks that regularly happened, and thus workers said that the leaks were rarely investigated. These problems were either fixed without further examination or ignored altogether. Before their shift, each worker would check the logbooks to review the activities of their previous shift. However, this logbook was written in English because the manager simply wanted it in English, instead of the native language of Hindi. This caused workers to not fully understand what services were performed, or equipment or gauges were in need of attention during their shift because they could not fully understand the English. Nature allows the humans to use their senses to be able to enjoy smells, such as these flowers, and to feel the dirt. In the Bhopal plant, this is how management wanted the workers to alert them of leaks, through feel and smell. The Bhopal plant did not have the computer system that other operations use to monitor their functions and quickly alert the staff to leaks. They did not have any sort of coding dimensions to alert the workers to whether or not there was a leak. Workers would feel the burning in their eyes, lungs, and throats, and only then would they know if there was a leak somewhere in the plant. The control rooms and gauges that the workers checked were analog displays. However, they lacked any reliable way of monitoring the tank temperature and pressure because it did not display the rate of change that was seen in the tanks. They were so unreliable that workers would normally just ignore the early signs of trouble. How could this disaster have been averted? Let's go over to Keegan to see what methods he has cooking up to prevent another industrial disaster.
Thanks for that great information, Tyler. So today we're going to learn how to bake the perfect fudge brownies and are going to be following my Aunt Crocker's secret recipe. The most important part of any recipe is following instructions. One way a disaster in Bhopal could have been prevented is with instructions. Proper training of the staff from the high-level management to the operators could have saved thousands of lives. If the staff had known how to act during an emergency, the preventative measures could have been enacted sooner. Standard operating procedures would have also been helpful. If workers had known what their jobs were and had step-by-step instructions, the plant wouldn't have had the same amount of problems as it did. Communication throughout the plant was also a major problem. If the plant had a system for communicating remotely, pressure gauges and on-site levers could have been easily checked and adjusted. Another helpful communication measure would have been adding beginning and end of shift meetings throughout the plant with communications boards. This way, all employees would know issues within and around the plant and be well informed with information regardless of their pay grade. The displays and gauges were also not appropriately designed. They didn't show past a certain temperature or pressure, so the engineers didn't have any way of knowing how dangerous the temperatures actually were. Predictor displays could be implemented so the plant has an idea of what the temperatures and pressures around the plant were going to be in the future, which could have helped prevent the disaster from occurring. And finally, the emergency measures shouldn't have been tampered with. Now over to you, Cam.
The disaster was a combination of negligence and poor operational procedures. It had not only placed a tremendous distress to the victims who were suffering, but also to the victims who have lost their loved ones. Immediately after the incident, approximately 2,000 people lost their lives. Only about a year later, more than 25,000 people died. Now, the long-term consequences affect at least 200,000 survivors who experience a wide variety of health problems and disabilities. Although the mental health professional arrived after the incident, the damage that it caused the population was profound, and just like that, the numbers keep increasing. Currently, the survivors are fighting to face many challenges in their lives. That's it, folks. Thank you for watching.